He wasn't supposed to survive that first night. A tiny Bengal kitten, barely 8 weeks old, abandoned in a cardboard box behind a gas station in Nevada. No food, no water, just a handwritten note that said, "Free to good home," with a sad face emoji. But here's the thing about this particular cat. He didn't wait for a good home to find him. He went looking for the world instead. The truck driver who discovered the box at 6 a.m. named him Atlas. Those distinctive Bengal markings, the wild rosettes across golden fur, amber eyes that seemed too intelligent for such a small creature. The driver couldn't keep him, but he couldn't leave him either. So he did something crazy. He took Atlas on the road. That decision changed everything, because what started as a temporary rescue became the most documented animal journey in modern history. And if you've ever wondered if animals can truly understand the concept of adventure, you need to hear what happened over the next 3 years. Drop a comment right now about where you think a cat could possibly travel, because I guarantee Atlas went further than your wildest guess. Week 1, Atlas learned truck life. The driver, a man named Jake who'd been hauling freight for 15 years, set up a small bed near the passenger seat. Atlas would watch the highway scroll past, those amber eyes tracking every car, every sign, every landscape change. Jake said it was like traveling with a tiny, furry philosopher. The cat never meowed unnecessarily, never caused trouble. He just observed, absorbed, adapted. By month 2, Atlas had crossed 12 states. The photos started appearing online. Jake's daughter posted them first. A Bengal cat sitting on the dashboard with Monument Valley behind him. Atlas perched on a truck mirror in front of the Grand Canyon. The cat silhouetted against a Texas sunset. The hashtag Atlas the Explorer started trending. But here's where skeptics entered the chat. Some people said it was cruel, dragging a cat across the country. Others argued cats need stability, routine, familiar territory. What do you think? Because what the veterinary checks revealed will settle that debate permanently. Every vet visit showed the same thing. Atlas wasn't just healthy, he was thriving. 0 stress markers, perfect weight, engagement levels off the charts. One vet in Colorado said she'd never seen a more content cat in 20 years of practice. Month 6 brought the turning point. Jake's route took them to Canada. Atlas experienced his first snow, and instead of hiding, he stood at the truck window, pressing his nose to the glass, mesmerized by falling flakes. They stopped at a rest area near Banff. Jake let Atlas out on a harness, and witnesses say what happened next was surreal. The cat walked to the edge of an overlook, sat perfectly still, and just stared at the mountains for 20 minutes straight. Not distracted, not anxious. Contemplating. The social media following exploded. 200,000 followers became 2 million. People weren't just watching a cat travel, they were watching a cat experience life with an intensity most humans never achieve. Atlas at the Pacific Ocean, paws in the surf. Atlas in a Montana blizzard, snowflakes catching on his whiskers. Atlas watching the northern lights from the Yukon, those amber eyes reflecting green and purple. Year 2, Jake made a decision that shocked everyone. He extended his roots internationally. Mexico first, then through Central America. Atlas got his pet passport, all vaccinations, full health clearances. The veterinary community debated it. The internet split into camps, but Jake said something that silenced the critics. This cat has shown me more joy in landscapes I've driven past for years without really seeing. If he's teaching me to live differently, who am I to cage that? Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama. Atlas climbed Mayan ruins, sat in rainforests listening to howler monkeys, watched sloths with the patience of a creature who understood slow living. The photos became art, that distinctive dangle coat against ancient stone, tropical green, volcanic black sand beaches. But here's what nobody expected. Atlas started changing behavior. In each new place, he'd find the highest point available, sit and watch. Not hunting, not playing, processing. Jake started calling them Atlas moments. The cat wasn't just seeing the world, he was understanding it in a way that seemed impossible for an animal. Year 3 brought South America, the Amazon, the Andes, Patagonia, and that's where the discovery happened that explains everything. They were in Peru, stopped at a wildlife research station. A biologist noticed Atlas's behavior, specifically those long observation sessions. She asked to run some cognitive tests, just for curiosity. Jake agreed. The results were extraordinary. Atlas scored higher than any domestic cat on record for pattern recognition, spatial awareness, and environmental adaptation. The biologist's theory, isolation at such a young age, then immediate exposure to constant change, had rewired his brain. Atlas didn't see new places as threats. He saw them as data, information, pieces of a puzzle he was assembling in that remarkable feline mind. The revelation went viral. Universities wanted to study him, documentary crews reached out, but Jake refused. Atlas wasn't a research subject. He was a traveler who happened to be a cat, and his journey wasn't finished. They're currently in Alaska. Last post showed Atlas on a glacier, that golden Bengal coat stark against blue ice, amber eyes fixed on the horizon. Comments debate what he's thinking. Some say instinct. Others swear it's consciousness. Wonder. The thing humans spend whole lives chasing. The truth is, Atlas has now visited 47 states, 12 countries, and 3 continents. He's been photographed in deserts, forests, mountains, beaches, cities, and wilderness. He's logged over 300,000 miles. And according to every veterinary check, every behavioral assessment, every moment captured on camera, he's not stressed. He's alive in a way most creatures never experience. Some people still say it's wrong, that cats need routine. But watch the videos. Atlas running on black sand beaches, Atlas tracking birds in cloud forests, Atlas sitting perfectly still on a cliff edge watching eagles soar. That's not a stressed animal. That's a soul fulfilling its purpose. Jake says they'll keep going as long as Atlas wants. He said in his last interview, "I watch him at each new place. I watch for signs he's tired, wants to stop, but every time we reach somewhere new, he gets this look, like he's saying, 'What's next? Show me what's next.'" The journey continues. Atlas, the Bengal cat, the traveler who wasn't supposed to survive, who's now seen more of Earth than most humans ever will. And if you think you know what happens when they reach their next destination, think again. Because the place they're heading next, the photos Jake just posted coordinates for, it's somewhere no domestic cat has ever been documented. Somewhere that will either prove Atlas is the most extraordinary feline alive or reveal something about animal consciousness we've never understood. The truck rolls on, those amber eyes watch the road ahead, and the world waits to see where this impossible cat goes next.